everyone, to OpenLine, talking with elder law attorney Tim Takacs, talking about elder law, and a chance for you to call in with questions you may have as you and we all get older, how to plan for it, or maybe a loved one that you're caring for. What sort of things should you be looking at? Questions should you be asking? Let's go to Brad, who is waiting here.
How to plan for it, or maybe a loved one that you're caring for.
Brad, are you there? Wait.
Yes.
Okay, Brad, go right ahead.
Yeah, I was wanting to ask a question about how do you find out if, how do I explain it? I'm sorry. My mother had an insurance policy, and she told me, make sure you remember that when I pass away, there's going to be just a little bit of money for all 5 kids. And I do not have the paperwork. It's probably going to be an argument to get the paperwork. And I just wondered, how would I find out about that and some other, rights that I would have?
How long ago did she pass away?
It's been about 6 months.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, let's have Tim answer this. Tim, what are your thoughts here?
So, Brad says, mother tells him, I have a life insurance policy, and apparently it's payable to the 5 children. She didn't give him any more information, didn't get a copy of the life insurance policy. In those cases, I'm going to assume that she died if she died in Tennessee. At some point, what happens is that if no one files a claim against the policy, then the state will, or the insurance company will pay the proceeds to the state of Tennessee, so that then it becomes unclaimed property. Because he mentioned that since mom died 6 months ago, maybe the life insurance company is sitting. They may not even know she's passed.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Or I took from it, it might be he's worried one of the siblings would file it and not tell him.
If that's the case, then what Brad, I'm sorry, is it Brad? I guess it's Brad.
Right.
If he's concerned that one of the siblings has basically got the money, and I'm not sure that the life insurance company would pay it all out to just one sibling.
Okay. If there were 5 names, you don't think they would?
If there were 5, then the payment would be made to basically all 5 of them.
Okay, good point.
So it's not, and they would probably not take, a particular person's word that, oh, well, my brother's died, and let, so, in a situation like that, if the life insurance company was say reluctant, that they would sit on it, or they would open up a probate estate and they would pay they would pay the proceeds of the life insurance policy, into probate, and let the probate court, decide what to do with the money.
But he would need to have some information about the life insurance policy, right? I mean, if his mom just said, "Hey, I've got a life insurance policy," you need to have some information about it.
I mean, one option that he has, if neither he nor any of his siblings has information about it, it may be that he does open up a probate estate in the county where his mother passed away. It doesn't matter whether she's had a will or not, but he opens up a probate estate, and that basically gives him authority, the legal authority to investigate.
Oh,
because right now there's nobody that represents his mother's estate. So ultimately it could be that he has to take that avenue If he can't find the policy, or if the policy, I mean, people put life insurance policies in places that where, frankly, they shouldn't. Like in lock boxes, like in safe deposit boxes.
Right.
So it could be sitting in a safe deposit box, and or some other place where that's a whole other thing. Is why we say is, don't put life insurance policies in safe deposit boxes, because they don't have street value.
Yeah.
You put jewelry, and you put valuables, in safe deposit boxes. You don't put stuff that, and don't worry about house fires, because I've heard all of that too. If there's ever a house fire, the life insurance policy, if it burns up, it's very unlikely that the fire will get hot enough even if you put it in a fireproof box. There's all sorts of things that people tell you that, we don't say don't do that. That's not going to do it. So ultimately, I guess my advice to Brad, or recommendation to Brad, is that, it may be that he needs to, contact an attorney and talk about, maybe share some more information about what the story is. We really, as you mentioned, Ben, we really didn't get him any of the details, whether is it another sibling that maybe has tried to cash it in or whatever, or even if it exists at all. Did she liquidate the policy? And I mean, who knows? Right.
A lot of questions there. Okay. All right, good. Well, Brad, thanks for calling in. Let's talk about the high cost of nursing home care.
Yeah.
And I ask you this when you come on, and it blows my mind. It depresses me. But I'm going to ask it again.
Yeah.
How expensive is nursing home care?
Okay. The typical cost of a nursing home in Tennessee runs anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 a month. It's kind of an average. A lot of it depends on does the nursing home, does it participate in the state Medicaid, the TennCare program? Is it particularly all private pay facility? Is it is it a nursing facility that's that is catering to a very, say, maybe an affluent population that expects a lot of amenities? But that's generally what you can expect to pay, is anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 a month.
And so,
for nursing.
How do people plan for that? What is your advice when people come in and say, I don't know what to do about that? Where do we begin when it's going to be $7,000 to $10,000 a month?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that we want to know is, if a person comes in and starts asking questions about that, is that we want to know why they came in. Are they just curious? Are they just worried about things? Are they 60 years old and in great health, and have been told that that they might need nursing home care someday, and so they should give everything away? Typically, maybe that's a child that says, well, if you're worried about the nursing home, why don't you give me all your money? So don't let the nursing home impoverish you, impoverish yourself. That's the sort of thing, so we want to have those kind of conversations to make sure that, what is it that makes you believe that you are a likely candidate for needing nursing home care? If you have a diagnosis, and let's say of Alzheimer's disease, and you're maybe in your late 60s or early 70s or older, you're not likely to be able to qualify for a long-term care policy, long-term care insurance. So then the question is going to be, what resources are accessible or available to you, as you continue to age and as your function continues to decline. So you're worried about going to a nursing home, but are you paying for care now? And should you, and we often say, and that's part of our mantra is that you spend what you need to spend today to take care of yourself today. Nursing home is not always a given, merely because you have a diagnosis. And frankly, most people even in the state of Tennessee, if they are eligible to to be cared for maybe in an assisted living facility, which may run around, $4,000 to $5,000 a month. Often many of that bunch can stay there and age in place. So instead of having to pay $8,000 or $9,000 to be in a nursing home, they can pay maybe $5,000 and stay in a better environment.
And that's a lot better.
Exactly.
What about this idea of you touched on it, trying to preserve money, not have the nursing home take your house or take your money or whatever the case is, the look back, and how often do people ask about that, and how misinformed are people about that?
Yeah. Well, it's like the married couple that came in to see me this morning. They got a lot of misinformation from from an attorney who holds himself or herself out as an elder law attorney. And the wife, when she was like trying to stifle a sob, after I explained to her, how misinformed, that this attorney, had the misinformation that she had gotten from this particular attorney. Because she was worried that, that there was really nothing that she could do, that they would have to pay privately, that she would have, that she couldn't give her house away, or she couldn't transfer it, or the house couldn't be transferred from her husband to her. There's all sorts of things that she was, that the way she explained it to me it was clearly, bad information that she got.
Wow.
So there's a lot of that out there. One thing that we always say is that the state of Tennessee does not have a lien on your property. We hear that all the time is that, well, if I go into a nursing home, the state's going to have a lien on my property. That's not the case. In fact, the state is not permitted to get a lien on the property. The only way that the state can get a lien on the property, is if Medicaid benefits were procured by fraud.
Okay.
Then the state would be entitled to get a lien, but they have steps to take to do that. It's very seldom do we recommend, in cases of married couples, do we represent that we advise them to give away money or property, or even to transfer it into a trust, say to start a 5-year look back period. It's almost never a good idea.
Yeah, that's one of those things you always say. You say never give it to your kids, right?
Right. Yes.
And why do you say that?
Because they're the most unreliable people on the planet.
But maybe not their kids.
Yes. Oh, my kids, if I ever needed that money, they would give it back to me. Well, until the money was set aside, and they're, and the child's son or daughter is trying to go to college, or there's all sorts of reasons why that money will never get back to the parent. And that's why we say is that don't depend upon that you're going to be able to get the money back. Sometimes they can't give the money back because maybe they're going through a divorce or a bankruptcy. Parents don't always know what their children's financial affairs are.
That's the thing that I'm most fascinated on. I think we have to take a break. But because I know that is something they talk about doing. Okay, give it to the kids, and then the kids can give it right back, and maybe the government can't get it or whatever. But what if there's a divorce? Then all of a sudden it goes half and half, and your money is all divided up.
Yeah, exactly. You think that money, that your child can give it back to you, but the chances are pretty good is that your child isn't going to tell you that they're having marital problems. Or frankly, marital problems could arise after a gift is made, and in the meantime, the child and the child's spouse, are sharing that money. The people do all sorts of stuff that, are not very smart.
Right.
Or that they should get counseled about.
So, okay, I love that. I love that bit of advice. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, continue our discussion. Maybe we'll talk about trusts when we come back, some of that. And if you want to call in, there's the number. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.